Welcome to CLSI's Expert Panel Orientation. After viewing this presentation, you will be able to outline CLSI's committee structure, describe the role of expert panel members and advisors, and list expert panel responsibilities. The Clinical and Laboratory Standards Institute, CLSI, is a not-for-profit membership organization that brings together the global laboratory community for a common cause, fostering excellence in laboratory medicine. To support its vision of setting the standard in laboratory medicine for a healthier world, CLSI operates under the mission statement of develop clinical and laboratory practices and promote their use worldwide. Members and volunteers are represented from 3 different sectors of the healthcare field: industry, government, and healthcare professions. Examples of these constituencies include IVD manufacturers for industry, regulatory agencies for government, and hospitals for professions. CLSI offers a forum for the best minds on a given topic to develop consensus on a best practice in an open, transparent, and non-biased atmosphere. Expert panels are comprised of representatives from each of the 3 constituencies, but balance in numbers of representatives is not a requirement. A consensus document is developed using the principles of the consensus process to promote uniform products, materials, methods, or practices. A standard clearly identifies specific essential requirements for materials, methods, or practices for voluntary use in an unmodified form. A CLSI standard may, in addition, contain discretionary elements which are clearly identified. In contrast, a guideline provides a general operating practice, method, or material and can be used as written or modified for a specific need. CLSI has a library of over 150 standards that cover 10 technical areas. These are automation and informatics, clinical chemistry and toxicology, evaluation protocols, hematology and immunology and ligand assay, microbiology, molecular diagnostics, newborn screening, point-of-care testing, pre-examination processes, and quality management systems. CLSI documents are useful in assisting laboratories, government agencies, and industry representatives with regulatory compliance in professional practice and within teaching environments. Expert panels serve as advisory groups rather than a document drafting committee. They are responsible for identifying documents and products for development, proposing those projects to the Consensus Council, reviewing proposals from other sources and advising the Consensus Council on suitability, advising document development committees and the Consensus Council at all stages of document development, reviewing, commenting, and voting on proposed drafts of consensus documents within the panel's area of expertise, and reviewing documents within their area of expertise to recommend reaffirmation, revision, consolidation or division, or withdrawal or archiving. Expert panel participants may draft project proposals for both new projects and the revision of an existing document. These proposals can be developed by an individual or a small group of expert panel participants. Project proposals may also be drafted by individuals or groups outside the expert panel and submitted for review and endorsement. In addition, expert panel participants are expected to evaluate each project proposal submitted for consideration. This evaluation includes reviewing the project proposal for completeness, For example, have adequate answers been provided for all questions? Adequate supporting rationale for approval of the proposal? Clear scope of the project? An outline that supports the scope? And the inclusion of the proposed chairholder and vice chairholder for the document development committee. The practice of laboratory medicine and responsibilities of laboratory directors and associated laboratory professionals has evolved. In addition to professional, scientific, consultative, administrative, and educational matters related to laboratory services, clinical advice regarding test methodologies, appropriate clinical use of testing, and assistance with results interpretation is often sought. In the past, CLSI operated under an unwritten practice that it does not provide guidance on or related to the practice of medicine. However, with better understanding of and in response to current needs, CLSI's Board of Directors approved a request for expansion of the CLSI document scope. As such, where applicable, when expert panels submit a proposal for a new or revised document, the scope may be expanded to include consultative services and clinical interpretation strategies, to formulate effective strategies for laboratory directors and personnel to engage with physicians. Establish diagnostic stewardship as an essential element of collaborative consultation. Improve communications among healthcare providers and implementation of laboratory test findings to support effective delivery of patient care. And support improved diagnosis and treatment through test utilization management and risk management. Expert panel members and advisors are expected to thoroughly review the proposed draft, consisting of a line-by-line review of scope, approach, utility, and technical and editorial content, providing comments as appropriate. The review needs to ensure the overall quality, utility, and readability of CLSI consensus documents and ensure that the document is technically correct. In addition, expert panel members are expected to submit a vote on all proposed drafts for their technical area. All approved consensus documents undergo periodic review. The responsible expert panel initiates review of published documents within a 5-year period to recommend to the Consensus Council to archive, reaffirm, revise, or withdraw the document. An expert panel can conduct a document review before the 5-year period to determine whether a recommendation for action is needed. For example, if known changes are made to a technology described in a CLSI document, early action on the document may be warranted. The 5-year review process entails assessing that the document remains technically valid and does not pose safety risks when implemented. Reviewing any consensus comments that were received after approval of the document. Considering new information or changes in technology that should be included in the document. Determining whether the existing document is globally applicable and that this is reflected in the current revision. Expert panels may also recommend consolidation of one or more closely related documents or dividing the document and presenting it in parts, if the scientific or technical integrity of the content of the individual documents is not compromised. In these cases, the expert panel creates or solicits the creation of a project proposal for consolidating or dividing documents. After the review, the expert panel recommends to the Consensus Council to reaffirm, revise, withdraw, or archive an approved consensus document. Documents are eligible for one-time reaffirmation. Once reaffirmed at the next review cycle, the document must be revised, archived, or withdrawn. Expert panel members and advisors are also responsible for suggesting individuals to be appointed to the panel to fill vacancies as they arise, and or to document development committees as chairholders, vice chairholders, members, and or contributors. This slide shows the relationships between CLSI's Board of Directors and the groups responsible for managing and developing CLSI's suite of products. Each group has been assigned specific responsibilities and accountabilities. The CLSI governance structure includes the Board of Directors, who establishes CLSI's consensus policies. The Consensus Council, which serves as CLSI's consensus body. The Consensus Council approves and prioritizes new projects, manages and ensures that the consensus process and procedures for document development have been followed, and gives final approval for document publication, that is, the final vote. Expert panels are constituted for various technical subject areas. Currently, there are 10, one for each of CLSI's technical areas. Each panel is made up of subject matter experts who provide advice to document development committees and the Consensus Council as needed. The expert panels report to the Consensus Council and may take direction from CLSI's Board of Directors. Document development committees and subcommittees report to the Consensus Council. These groups are responsible for developing and or revising CLSI documents on subjects of substantial clinical relevance. Expert panels are composed of members, which include the chairholder and vice chairholder, and advisors. There is no requirement for balance on an expert panel. However, representation from each constituency is required. The number of expert panel participants depends on each panel's technical needs. The number of members should not exceed 14 in total. The number of advisors appointed to an expert panel can equal up to 50% of the number of members appointed. For example, if there are 10 voting members, the number of advisors may not exceed 5. No more than 2 individuals from the same organization can hold any position on an expert panel. For example, 1 member plus 1 advisor from the same organization, or 2 advisors from the same organization. Expert panel participants are appointed for a 1-year term and may continue in the appointed position for up to 4 consecutive terms before changing roles or stepping down from the expert panel. Voting members may move to advisor after their term is complete to maintain continuity and needed expertise, and advisors may have the opportunity to move to voting member if a position becomes available. Each expert panel is led by a chairholder. This individual should have in-depth knowledge and recognized expertise in the specific areas involved. The chairholder should possess demonstrated managerial experience in coordinating and expediting work programs in the field of interest, and should be capable of managing work within the structure of a voluntary professional organization. The chairholder should be aware of document development opportunities within the panel's technical area that are appropriate for the CLSI consensus document development and or derivative product development processes, and should keep the expert panel informed so appropriate new projects may be considered. The chairholder is responsible for recommending nominated candidates for its membership, as well as candidates to participate on document development committees, and for providing advice regarding committee participant appointments as appropriate. The chairholder maintains close contact with document development committee chairholders, advising at all stages in document development and emphasizing technical excellence, clarity, user suitability, global harmonization, and publication timeliness. The chairholder serves as the panel's primary liaison to the Consensus Council as needed. The chairholder coordinates the expert panel's activities with the CLSI project manager. This includes meeting scheduling and preparation and meeting summary minutes review and approval. The expert panel vice chairholder is responsible for assisting the chairholder in organizing the work of the expert panel and in liaising with the Consensus Council and document development committees. In the chairholder's absence, the expert panel's vice chairholder serves as the panel's leader and also represents the expert panel as liaison to the Consensus Council, and actively participates in all expert panel activities. Each expert panel must have a vice chairholder. Expert panel members should be experienced individuals involved in the panel's field of focus. They represent the technical expert body for each topic area and, as such, vote and comment on proposed draft documents. The expert panel member should be aware of and identify document development opportunities within his or her area of expertise and within the panel's technical area that are appropriate for the CLSI consensus document development and/or derivative product development processes, and should keep the expert panel chairholder informed so appropriate new projects may be considered. Expert panel members are expected to actively participate in and contribute to meeting discussions. Expert panel advisors have expert knowledge and experience in the expert panel's subject area and are interested in actively supporting the expert panel's efforts by identifying topics for new document consideration, developing and submitting new project proposals, and attending meetings and contributing to meeting discussions. Advisors are encouraged to review and submit input on documents during the proposed draft voting stage. Each expert panel has an assigned Consensus Council liaison. The liaison is a member of the Consensus Council and may or may not be a subject matter expert of the experts panel area of work. The Consensus Council liaison is responsible for providing advice on developing project proposals and the document development processes, attending expert panel meetings as requested, communicating expert panel successes, challenges, and concerns to the Consensus Council, updating the expert panel on Consensus Council activities, and summarizing highlights from the CEO's State of CLSI report to the Consensus Council when applicable. The Consensus Council liaison will not provide technical expertise or participate in technical discussions, decisions, or activities, develop or pre-score project proposals, or justify decisions made by the Consensus Council. Expert panels are expected to conduct business primarily by email or quarterly conference calls. Expert panels may hold one face-to-face meeting annually. Face-to-face meetings are generally held in conjunction with a CLSI Committees Week. If you need to contact us, please refer to the information provided here.